With the release of Into the Light, GLs got even more oppressively good than they were previously. With the mid-season patch that just rolled out last month bumping GL reserves by a whole bunch, as well as just the power creep caused by the perk Envious Assassin, GLs have just become monsters in the PvE damage meta. In the last video I posted, I went over what the best damage rotation was for GLs, and today we're just going to be taking a look at the massive updates it received with Into the Light coming out. Side note, if you wanted to be a part of our community and improve at Destiny, join our Discord. Thanks! Starting off with some general changes. With Into the Light, GLs got a flat 40% damage buff to their impact damage, which works out to being around a 15% overall damage increase, as well as Mountaintop just receiving its own flat-out personal damage bump. Moving into our kinetic slot, the Mountaintop came out and just completely wiped the table clean of every other top slot option in the game. It's actually insane. Its damage and perk combos in combination with its movement tech, and the fact that it's basically a hit scan weapon, it's just the best option in the entire game for this slot. Finally, our last huge change to our rotation is the addition of Edge Transit over the Cataphract in our power slot. You're probably saying they're the same frame and they have the same perks, so like why is this good? Well, previously the triple GL rotation used one kinetic GL, one void GL, and one strand GL, making it extremely wonky to benefit nicely from armor surge mods and any handling mods. With Into the Light though, we can comfortably run triple void surges now, and we're going to receive that flat out 22% damage buff to both our power and energy weapons. As well as we get to run double void dexterity mods to increase our handling, and not even to mention the reserve mods that we can now stack. Overall, the entire rotation got many buffs with Into the Light coming out, but the Mountaintop really kind of just takes it over the edge with its damage output as well as its velocity. Taking a look at the Mountaintop stats and perks, we have three main options for perk combinations for our rotation. In the first few columns though, you just ideally want hard launch, either spike or implosion nades. Implosion seeing a surge of popularity lately, however spikes are still fine. With auto-loading holster, and then either one of the three of Vorpal Weapon, Frenzy, or Recombination. Recombination ends up being the ideal choice for running with an Envious Power GL, as you really only get to fire maybe 3 to 4 Mountaintops in an ideal rotation phase, so the giant damage boost from the first recombination shot outweighs not having a damage buff on those next like subsequent 2 shots. It just does too much. For our energy weapon, we're still rocking Wilder Flight, which you still are going to want to use that GL special of Spike's auto-loading Frenzy. And finally, for our Edge Transit, you pretty much just want to make sure that you have Spikes or Augmented Drum, and then Envious Bait and Switch. The rotation optimally gets done on a Strand Warlock, but to be honest with how easy it is just to pull off the rotation, anyone can do this to relative effectiveness with just a high handling boosting exotic like Dragon Shadow or Ophidian aspects, regardless of class. For my class setup though, on my ideal build, we're just running around on Strand Warlock with Grapple and Thread of Ascent. We're using Thread of Evolution in order to boost the damage of the Threadlings that get spawned in by Horde Shuttle from the artifact. And as for some closing thoughts, a lot of people have recommended that we just use Izzy instead of a kinetic GL, and while yes, Izanagi's Burden is very good, this rotation was specifically designed to combat bosses like Golgoroth and Perseus from Spire of the Watcher, bosses that don't always have the easiest of crits to achieve, or bosses that just take explosive damage all over their body like Golg at full effectiveness. The final boss of Warlord's Ruin is a really good example of a boss that does have a crit spot, but with the add density and flinch, this rotation simplifies things really easily and just makes the whole thing feel a lot better. Speaking of the final boss of Warlord's Ruin, this next clip is literally just us dry testing this rotation for the first time against this boss, and it's one of, if not the only 2 floors I've ever seen in this boss that did not involve a Strand Titan or Radiant Dance Machine Hunters, both of which take a lot of skill to pull off and require a lot of stars to align to get to work correctly.
Not farmed. I'm definitely bugged. I still have the death curse on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So literally.
Yes!
All thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe, as we are going to be posting a whole lot more YouTube content soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one.